Okay guys, I'm just going to teach you very quickly how to clean a set of Z13 carbs out. Got a set here that's on the bench. These aren't mine, but it's a test version that we're going to use. Taking the carbs off, a huge problem everybody has when they put the carbs back on is fitting the rubbers and the air filter box. This is because generally carbs are off for a long time and the rubbers shrink. So what I've done, if we could just pan to the other set of carbs, I'm using these as a jig, and I fitted the rubber round another set of carbs. These are actually the set off my bike, but it keeps them stretched so that when we refit it will be much easier. So back to the carbs we're going to clean. What I've done, just to speed things up a little bit, I've taken some of the screws out. Things to remember: you take your carbs off. I know these carbs inside out. It may be worth you labelling things because they're clearly different. Although each carb's the same, we've got different brackets, so it might be worth just getting a marker pen and marking something like one line and one line, and then 2 lines and 2 lines, just so when you come to put things back together you know where the brackets go. So okay, a little less waffle and more doing. First thing I'm going to do is take the top off one of the carbs, so just spin that out. On this set of carbs are a bit mismatched because I've got some Phillips and I've got some Allen keys. So taking those off, what I've done, I always keep the top of the carb to the back of my workshop, so the screws that I've taken out the top I've put in a pile separately just here as the top screws, and all the ones that I'm going to take out the bottom I'll put at the bottom so I know which are which. So these are the ones out the bottom. Okay, now I've undone all the screws off that carb, so I can lift the top of the carb, exposing the diaphragm. Now because I'm cleaning the carbs, I want to take this diaphragm out. Now we need to be careful because diaphragms are often quite fragile, so I'm just going to pick it up and push the slides out and the diaphragm, taking the slides and the diaphragm out. Now these are very delicate, we could bend these needles, so we do need to be careful about these. Now I always put them that way up so that I don't lay anything down on them. Right, so that's the carbs with no slides, no diaphragms. There is a little nylon washer that sits just there, but in our case, if we just look at the diaphragm and the slides, the washer is actually in place there. So you just need to be careful when you're refitting that that washer's there. So that's the top done. I'm just going to flip the carb upside down. Now we're working on this carb, so we've actually got the idle screw to take out. So we're going to undo this. That's the next thing. So I've got 2 Phillips holding that in. Just unscrew that, and again unscrew it. So that's the 2 screws off, but this is screwed in to the tick over, so we just need to undo that. Now when we take this off, there is a spring here, so we do need to be careful of that spring that we don't lose that. So just pull it out, and the spring stayed on. Again, put that carefully to one side so that we can refit it later. Right, looking at the bottom of the carb bowl, just taking the bowl off. Luckily for me, the gasket stayed on the bowl, which has now exposed all the jets that we now need to clean. So just to make things easier, I'm actually going to flip the carb upside down. It just sits at a nice angle like that. But now what you've got to remember, you're working on this carb, it was this side, so I'm going to just take this out just push it through slightly, flick it back. It will come out, honestly. There we go. Right, so I've taken the float out. The float's a very delicate piece of kit. We don't want to damage this or put a hole in it, otherwise your fuel levels will be wrong. We have to be careful that we don't bend this, because this is set right to get the right amount of fuel in the carbs. So we're going to put that to one side. So now we've exposed the jets. We've got all the jets here. I'm using a product to clean the carbs with. So first thing I'm going to do is push the end of the straw into the main jet, and then I'm blowing through, and I would like you to see that that just blows straight through into the chamber there, so that's clear. Do the other one, that's clear. So those two are nice and clear, but that's not all we need to clean. These carbs are full of little journals and passageways that we need to get at. So we've got in here, we've got another jet that we need to blow through. So I'm just going to insert the straw into that, and I am just going to ask the cameraman just to back away just a little bit, and then zoom in now, but staying a long way away. Right, I'm just going to blow that through, and hopefully that didn't go on the camera, but you saw it blow through and come out here. Next thing we want to do is cover that, and blow through. Something we need to see here, why I'm doing this, trying to get pressure to blow through to here. Can you look down this choke? I'm just going to pressurise the system again, and hopefully, yeah, you can see it squirting out the other side of the butterfly. Now, many 13 owners are having a problem with the bike starting, and that's because that journal's blocked. When you're trying to start your bike, you need fuel to be blowing this side of the butterflies, and if these journals in here are blocked, you're not going to get any fuel through, and it's not going to start. So the exercise we've done, we've blown through the main jet. We can cover the main jet. In fact, I'll point to it in here. If we cover, we can see the fuel coming through. If I cover that, you need to back away and go to the side slightly. You see it blows through here. So next thing we need to do is cover that hole as well, and the main jet inside. I could do with more pairs of hands for this, but right, now this carb has got a blockage here somewhere, because it should be blowing out. There's a blockage in here, it should be blowing out of there, and just to prove that point, I'll show you on the other choke. As you saw, it just blew out of here. So by blocking where the jet comes through there and here, we're pressurising this chamber here, and the fuel should go through there into that jet. We're not getting that with this one. So this set of carbs on my bench has a blockage there, so we need to cure that, we need to clean that out. And we'll do that purely by pressurising it using this until that's clear. Once that's clear, and we've got fuel coming out of here as well, that carb's finished, everything's nice and clean. We know then that that carb will start, fuel will get through when you're trying to start it, and it should run nicely. But these are the problems, these journals here and here, and also the journal from this jet through to here. You're going to have real trouble starting if when you blow fuel in through there, you're not getting it coming out this side of the butterfly, and that's the reason you're having starting problems. So just follow that procedure of blowing through and blowing through, covering that and covering that to pressurise the other chambers here, and then doing exactly the same thing here, putting the cleaner into that nozzle and blocking all the same things again to make it blow through here, and all your starting problems should be done and dusted.